Welcome back to your 321Forms employee user account, made because everyone hates paperwork. I'm going to show you how to fill out your forms. Prior to filling out forms, you will need to do a household setup. If you have questions on how to do a household setup, please view the household setup tutorial. For now, we're going to go directly to filling out forms. Whenever we are asked to fill out forms, we're going to review our household setup information to make sure that it's accurate and that we have no additional persons that we need to add to our household. If we do need to add additional persons to our household, select the Add Another Person button, or if we need to edit information, go ahead and select the person that you need to edit. For now, we're going to move on to fill out our forms. So we select the Finished Adding Persons button. Then we'll be asked to consider who we want to be involved in our forms that we'll be filling out. You can select everyone in your family, or you can select individuals. Once you have selected who you'd like to include, go ahead and save and continue. Next, we'll be asked to select the forms that have been made available to us by our HR representative or our manager. Your HR manager or your manager will tell you which forms that you need to fill out. For now, I'm going to fill out just 2 forms for the sake of time. But know that whatever forms that you select, your information will be populated across the multiple forms, so you will be asked the minimal amount of information as possible to make your paperwork process quick and simple. Once you have selected the forms that you'd like to fill out, you will be given some basic instructions. It tells you which forms that you'll be filling out, and also lets you know that whenever you stop, you can return at any time to finish filling out your forms and your information will be saved. And also know that there are help buttons that look like this image here. If you select a help button throughout the system, it will give you additional information so that you can have additional info to fill out your forms. Let's go ahead and begin filling out our forms. Now, this information, it looks like, will be populated across the multiple forms. We can also see at the top of our menu a status bar, which I will show you in just a moment. The status bar shows you how much of your paperwork you have completed. We can see that in doing these 2 forms, we have already completed 26% of our paperwork. Also, we can see here an example of how we're asked the minimal amount of questions. If this application was completed by a translator, the appropriate questions will appear. Otherwise, you will not be required to fill out that information, or will even be asked that question. Congratulations, you have completed all of the necessary information to be input on your forms. Now, we will be asked to review and electronically sign the forms that require signatures. Let's go ahead and continue. Here is where you can see your information will be populated to a PDF form. If we select View Form, this form will then be built in another window in the PDF version. This is how your form will appear to your HR staff or manager. If your handwriting is anything like mine, it looks a little bit like chicken scratch. I'm sure your handwriting is very nice though. But in this form, we can see that our information is populated, bolded, and legible for our HR staff to review. This will minimize errors and help you get the information, the pay, the insurance that you need. We can see that everything is input correctly on our form. We'll go ahead and close this window. If we did not see something that was input correctly, please select the Skip Submission link here so that you can go back and fix those mistakes. Otherwise, go ahead and continue. We are asked to put our electronic signature here for the 401k form, saying that we agree with these changes. Through the Paperless Act, we are able to use an electronic signature, which is wonderful for our paper conservation and also so we can use electronic versions of forms like 321 Forms. Once you have signed this form, go ahead and submit the form. Now we can see that our 401k has been successfully submitted and to what office it has been submitted. If we have questions, we can go to the representative of this store. Now we are asked to view our I-9 form for accuracy. When we select this link, it will build the PDF in another window just as we saw before. If there is any errors with this form, again, select the Skip Submission link here. Otherwise, go ahead and continue. Just like our 401k, our I-9 requires a signature as well. Please read the statement for every electronic signature that you give. Also important for the I-9 is to know that you will be required to bring in certain documentation. Once you submit your form, you will see a reminder of the documentation you need to bring. Here we can see a little reminder of the documentation. If you need a reminder of what documentation to bring, select the link here. This will take you to the IRS page where it will tell you about the passport, driver's license, birth certificate, etc. that are acceptable forms of documentation for your HR staff to complete the I-9 form. It is very important that you bring in this information no later than 3 days after your date of hire. You have successfully submitted your I-9 and 401k form. That is how you fill out forms using your 321 Forms account. If you have additional questions, please contact your HR staff or manager, or you can contact your 321 Forms technical support at 435-752-9129. Thank you.